Good morning, good morning, good morning, good people. I got some more breakthrough news. Um, and y'all get to meet my dog Duke today. He need a haircut though. I had to keep an eye on him, make sure I stay focused. But so yeah, I had a breakthrough night last night, and I just want to identify and call out. Well, really, just express that um, my trauma showed up last night. It activated in the very last video that I made, and I wasn't even aware of it until I looked back at the video and started calling out all of the little signs and tools and things that I've been learning. And I'm glad that I posted that video, because honestly, I wanted to take it down. I wanted to take it all down. You know, I was nervous. I was mad. All of that stuff started showing up again because I identified what it was, what that trauma was. So that was a little bit of betrayal trauma, because the coworker of mine consistently does this thing to me, and I haven't said anything for so long, so I've been suppressing it. So it showed up in my video in the form of anger, rage. And now I'm looking back at the prior videos I made, some of them that makes me cringe personally, just because I'm looking at how it came out and I'm thinking about the why it came out that way, and the reaction, and all of that shit. So what happened after that video was I walked, I just got calm with myself, went in my truck, and just assessed myself and reflected on why I was feeling what I was feeling. I had the headache, I had the frustration, because honestly, it's not fair to steal my time and to continue to do this. And I don't know, it just triggered some betrayal trauma. And like, we've talked about this before. I've talked to this guy personally before. At some points we were cool before, and then I shut down after this kept happening, and I stopped talking to him. So I would show up to the job, we'd swap trailers, and I'd go on about my business without saying anything. I just wouldn't even look in his direction, because if I did, it would trigger me to want to say something. But remember, when you're standing in your truth, they can't hurt you. So I want to go back. So when I was in the Waffle House, that guy, the waiter that was being sort of kind of rude, I realized it really wasn't about him. It was about Marcus. Because in any other situation, I wouldn't even cared how empty that guy was acting. I still would have, as my whole self, been interested in like trying to bring a little light into his world by speaking and by maybe asking him, "How you doing, man?" or something like that. But what I didn't mention was, after I was walking out of the restaurant, now my anxiety is going, now my alertness is going, I'm paying attention to everything around me, all the people, whatever. There was a dog sitting by the door, so the fight, flight got activated, or freeze. I freezed. I looked at the dog. There's a big pit bull sitting there, and I just went back in the restaurant, and I asked everybody in the restaurant. I said, "Hey, anybody left a dog outside or something like that?" And then the guy got up and he said, "Oh, she jumped off the truck, blah 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 blah." Then the waiter came around and he started, I guess he likes dogs. He said, "Oh, it's a dog out there." Now he's lit up. And I'm wondering to myself, like, where was this energy when you were interacting with me when I came in to order my food, right? Anyway, then they came outside and started talking whoop-de-woo, and the guy's making a joke about You know, if you can't give me $1,000 for her because she's for sale, you can't have her, she's worth it, blah, blah, blah. I laughed it off, and then that's when I walked and started making the video, but I skipped over that part. That's how focused I was on what I was feeling versus in the anger versus, oh, it wasn't, that situation wasn't really bothering me for real. And I could laugh about it and walk. Then it got reactivated when I started talking about why I was feeling what I was feeling. But after I made the video and went back to my truck and calmed myself down and kind of watched some things that soothed me a little bit, I got like another hour to wait on him. He was even later than he said he was going to be. So I went into, so I waited there and he pulled up. I had no emotional feelings or anything. I was still upset about having to wait there. So when he got out, I showed up as myself. What's up, Marcus? What's going on, dude? Blah, 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 blah. Ah, man, I'm sorry. The first thing he did was walk up to me to give me some dap. And he had money in his hand. I wasn't even paying attention to the money in his hand. Because at this point, I'm not mad, but I'm just a little annoyed. I want to express that I'm a little annoyed. I dapped him up, got the money. I was like, oh, I appreciate it. Old me would have been like, you don't got to do that. You can have it. You ain't got to pay me, man. Don't worry. No, you need to pay me for my time. And I'm glad that you're aware. So he gave me the money. He's explaining the situation, what happened. I'm like, you good, you're good. I said, look, things happen. Look, next time, just communicate with me ahead of time so that I can plan accordingly. I said, you know, all you gotta do is, you know, shoot me a text or give me a call. I could have stayed home and chilled a little longer. I wouldn't have mind. Yeah, man, but you know, they've been on me. I said, that's cool. I'm not them, I'm me. So, after we had that, you know, he started laughing about something, talking. I said, everything good? You good? He like, yeah, man, a lot of shit at home. I said, look, I get it. So then after that, go on and do my thing. He doing his thing. I went into the store. There's a cashier in the store. She's a manager, actually. And the first time I met her, she triggered a lot of, like, anxiety in me too, because this is how I met her. So back when I started the job, the company gave me a card to pay for the fuel, but the card didn't work. The manager that night told me, you know, oh, y'all come here every night, so don't worry about it. But it's been 2 months now that they haven't paid the $300 and something. I've been to my managers, I've been to her manager, they've been communicating with corporate. They still never paid for the fuel. So the first time I met her was like maybe 2 or 3 weeks after the fuel went unpaid. And she came, she's just like, you got the money? And the first thing I do it like to myself, like, who are you talking to? I said, huh? And I had the items in my hand. I thought she wanted me to give her money for I said, no, I'm not ready to cash out. She said, no, I need the money for the fuel. And I go, oh, I talked to my company about that. They didn't handle it. They didn't take care of the problem, whatever. And she goes, no. So the first interaction with her was stern and rude like that. So every time after that I've interacted with her, it was always casual, like, hey, how you doing? I'm good. You all right? Yeah, boop. Keep it moving. So this night, she had a new hairdo. She had her hair down. And I go, your hair looks really nice. Did you do something different to it? She goes, oh, I just straightened it and I got a cut. And I said, it looks really nice. You look good. She starts smiling and laughing. And she was like, I guess you waiting on Marcus, huh? I said, yeah, you know how I go. And by this time, we're walking towards the restroom so I could go use the restroom, but we're walking past the lottery machine. And I said, you ever play these? And she starts talking, and then we start talking. I said, yeah, I used to have a little gambling addiction. So I used to do scratch-offs a lot in casino. And she go, oh, me too. She's I played on my phone. Now she's telling me about this game she played on her phone and how you can make money. And she's showing me all these different ways she makes money playing it. And she's sending me an invite to it and all of this and all of that. And by the end of it, you know, we exchanged numbers. Like, okay, you cool. Like, we had a lovely conversation. Go use the bathroom, I leave. She's like, I gotta get back to work. Okay. I said, oh, by the way, I paid for the fuel. They finally gave me the company card and I paid for it today, so you ain't gotta worry about that no more. She's smiling and happy the whole time. I'm paying attention to her body language, everything, and she just like lit up. And I could tell she must have been in a good mood. It's Friday. She might have got paid or something. So I go back in the truck, and as I'm, hey, don't roll around like that. Hey, are you crazy? Um, so I get back to the truck. I'm analyzing how I feel. I'm feeling good, but I got a headache because I've been up and I'm tired. I gotta go home. I gotta do this, blah, 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 blah. As I'm driving back and I get to my stop to unload, I got this intense headache. The headache won't go away. I'm checking my body. My body is still sort of kind of tense. And then I'm breathing, doing my little breathing exercises. I'm thinking about what triggered this and where is it leading me to in my head, in my body. So it triggered me back to the original abandonment / betrayal trauma from my childhood. And I'm addressing it and I'm calling it out and noticing how I reacted, how I changed the reaction to how I felt in the moment. Even after I raged, but I raged in a more healthy way by doing the video. Usually I would either talk to somebody about it or write about it or just hold that anger in and just been a grumpy, mad person for the rest of the day, right? So I drive home, unload. I'm still having the headache in and out. And I used to have high blood pressure issues, like on the brink of stroke. That's how much stress I was harboring inside my body. So I'm talking to my mentor or support system person that I talk to every morning, and we identified those things, and I just kept using the tools, and I kept the more the negative things popped in my head and triggered me to feel mad or angry, upset, whatever, the more I would refocus on something in the moment, in the present moment, that I could see or that was positive and healthy, and I would just redirect the negative thoughts. The negative thoughts stayed there. My body kept trying to respond that way. I did some stretches, whatever. So that's what happened. This is the video for the video about Vincent. So this is the aftermath. Went over in my head, I should delete the videos. I noticed all the little mistakes I made. I'm not being myself naturally. I'm not talking naturally. I'm still identifying like, oh shit, you still wearing that mask because you're some areas of trauma where you don't like to be seen. You don't like attention to be on you, the spotlight to be on you, because if the spotlight's on you, people are going to call out your flaws, and you're going to care about what they say. You're going to care about every little detail that where you're doing something wrong or could be corrected, and you don't want to feel like that. Redirect those thoughts. No, the more I get that type of feedback, the more I respond differently, the better I feel. I'm training myself now how to react different in these situations. And I'm also training myself to distinguish the trauma. That's a part of the work. Now I'm gonna say this. It's very hard and it's a process and it doesn't look pretty. So if this is your first time seeing one of my videos and you relate to this, at some point these videos are going to get better, the material is going to be better, I'm going to be better at talking and being confident with what I'm saying and how I'm saying it and why I'm saying it. So at some point, go back to the earlier videos and you're going to see the difference in that person. And the more I reveal more of myself and the more I'm learning, the more you're going to see the process. So if you're a person struggling in the same areas, you'll be able to see how my action has helped me improve the situation, because we're not the only ones dealing with this stuff. It shows up in other people's lives as well, just probably in a different way. So with that being said, and I also watch a lot of other YouTubers, and a lot of them said they did that before their channel like really took off, and then, you know, and they got really good at doing what they're doing. They'd go back and look at the videos from the beginning, and they can identify all of the areas. So it's kind of like watching your progress to monitor how it's working for you. So I wanted to make this video just to follow up on the ranting video, or the venting video. It was me venting, and I identified how that has been showing up in my life, in my personal relationships. It shows up the same way. When somebody betrayed me, or somebody lied to me, or somebody manipulated me, or something like that, I suppress it and I let them get away with it for a while, and then I blow up. But the blowing up part comes out verbally on that person, which usually would trigger them. I've always been deadly with words to other people. That was my way of fighting them. My words, tearing them down, you know, to a point where they would rage at me and put their hands on me, leading to the fight. Now I'm in fight mode, and I fight back. So I identified that in some of my past relationships where there was a physical altercation, I'm going back now. Every physical fight started with the same thing. Me raging my words at the person, even warning them at some point. You can say what you want to say. You can get don't touch me. As long as you don't touch me, we good. You can say whatever you want to say. And that was always my defense mechanism, because I know I have the power to beat you with the words. So it's not fair that I do that, because that could be triggering trauma in them, causing them to be physical with me. So I brought that onto myself. Now I can release that and forgive them in those moments where those things happen. Is it right? No. But that's how we were exchanging our trauma, and that's how it was popping out in our lives. I think that's like a deep moment of reflection and healing. Wow. And I'm recalling all of the times I've ever gotten into a physical altercation in my life, and it showed up the same way, but in a different situation. I think that's just so it's so beautiful, because I can love on myself and forgive myself now for that, carrying those things all these years and knowing where it came from, where it stemmed from, and why it happened. Now I can identify it. I can release that part. And when it starts to show up in my life again, I can catch myself and respond differently, because now I have the tools to change that behavior. I ain't all the way there, and this is deep psychological healing, and your mind is changing. So maybe these headaches and stuff is because the changes are happening. It takes a lot to really change some behaviors that's trapped in our mind and our bodies. You know, this is a process. Hey, too far. Come on. Another thing I identify with, this is the last thing. I wanted to keep this video under 20 minutes, and I'm close. Another thing that I identified is the reason I'm saying the solar misfit. When I was younger and did poetry and wrote and did radio and practice, you know, my craft and following my dream. My dream originally was to be on radio, but I always use another name to hide my identity. That goes back to the part of me that don't like to be seen wearing a mask in the world. So I always was a talker, and I always wanted to talk and motivate and work together with people and help people heal. That's the person I am in my core. But I originally wanted to do that on TV after watching some of my idols, you know, on TV, and I'm thinking, wow, that's what I want to do. Like, and I used to always think in my life, I gotta get successful and famous first before I'm gonna be worthy of doing that kind of work, before anybody else see me or hear me. But I still put out my stuff, and to run away from the pain of being criticized, I'd use a different name when I put my work out. Now, granted, some people like my stuff and connected with it, and some people didn't. So I would hide by these different names: the Solar Misfit, D Black, Demetrius. I made up these aliases when I would put my work out in order not to feel hurt and riddled with all of that trauma that I was carrying. Wow, powerful breakthrough moment. I'm 35 and I'm just now unlocking this to learn how to be my better self, to follow my purpose. Then it switched from wanting to do radio to wanting to do music. But then I didn't want to do music because now I have to show up and be myself and use my real voice. And people are going to see the real me. I'm hiding the real me so the real me don't get hurt. I'm running from things that can no longer hurt me. That's powerful. It's a breakthrough for me, y'all. Like, I was crying, was talking about it. I was crying, thinking about it in the truck, and I cry a lot now, and I let it out when I feel it now. So there'll probably be times where y'all gonna see me cry. Because it's a breakthrough. It's like I'm releasing that kid. I'm releasing that person who's been trapped in this prison for 23 years. Which goes back to some other trauma from being in foster care and being in boys' home and group homes, when I didn't do anything wrong to deserve to be in those places, and being picked on in there and treated poorly in there. I'm releasing that person. I'm releasing it. I don't have to show up in the world like that no more. That's the power. And if me talking about this and being real and exposing my life, but knowing it's the truth and it can't hurt me, and I'm showing up as my authentic self, if only one person get it, and only one person can see something in my story and make the changes or identify and at least start working towards the healing part, I've done my duty. It's not about wanting to be famous. It's not about wanting material things. None of that. The happiness in finding the purpose of your life and living for your purpose and your calling. We're put on this planet to help each other, to be of service to one another. So when you learn something that helps you be better in this world, you want to share it and you want to teach it the appropriate way. So in my previous videos, that came out a little raw. And I still want to do radio, and I still want to do podcasts, and I still want to talk and do vlogging. And eventually I will write my book. This is just the starting process. And I was trying to rush all of what I was feeling out in the first videos. And look, I'm not going to look at them no more. I don't need to look at them no more. If you care to go back and see it, you can do that. I'm going to get there. This is just another breakthrough moment. It's still hard for me to show up and be seen because I know I'm going to get criticism left and right putting myself out on the internet. But that's what's going to help me break past this point, this thought process in my mind. All these years, I stopped myself from working towards my purpose. Always felt it. Life was so uncomfortable and kept happening the wrong way for me every time I stopped working at my dream and every time I kept running away from my purpose. Life was uncomfortable and painful. Nothing seemed to work. It would work for a little while. I would find little moments and bursts of happiness, but that same pattern continued until this very last time. And another thing that I discovered, this is the last thing and I'm gonna let you guys go. I have to go to the park. Another thing that I discovered is the more I identify these areas in my life, the more I'm starting to have compassion for other people. So with Marcus, in that situation, I started thinking, what could be going on in his life that caused him to be this late? That caused him, I saw him looking a little tired and exhausted. So I don't know what's going on in his personal life to make him relate like that. It may not be intentionally towards me, you know? And if I explode on him, what state of mind is that going to put him in? I should care about how he feels. I should care about how that waiter inside the restaurant, I should have cared how he was carrying and showing himself up in the world, because he wasn't showing up as his authentic self. Something is disturbing that person. And then I started slowly identifying all the little people around me. That lady, when I first interacted with her, I started, my managers at work, some of my family members, my exes, people I done wrong, people who did me wrong. I can forgive them. They don't even know that they're doing that to themselves. They're in a cycle of repetitive behaviors. And it's as simple as getting real and truthful with yourself about your trauma. Identifying it and releasing it. I always used to walk around saying, if you can understand something, you can defeat it. And it's the truth. This is Corey. I'll see y'all on the next one.